In-text citations are places in your essay where you identify the source in which you found your information. The in-text citation makes it easy for you to look the source information up in the Works Cited page. When you use a printed source, the basic rule of in-text citation is use the author's last name and the page number or numbers where you found the information. You can do this a couple ways. First, you can use both the author's last name and the page number in parentheses at the end of the quote. Note that there's no comma between the name and the page number. Also, the period always goes after the citation. Second, you can use the author's name in the text and just provide the page number in parentheses. For many online sources, you won't have page numbers to cite. Instead, you'll just list the author's last name, just like any other source. Of course, many sources online don't have a clear author. In that case, you'll want to use the title of the article or web page. You are welcome to shorten it if it's long. Titles of web pages should be in quotation marks. Remember to never use URLs in your paper. Always the author, and if you don't have an author, the article or page title. And if you can't determine the page title, then lastly you can use the website title, but not the web address with the HTTP and all that. When the work you're citing has multiple authors, you'll still want to use the same method of using last names and page numbers. The only thing different is that you're listing all the authors involved. You can either use the authors' names in the text and the page number or numbers in parentheses at the end, or you can put the author's last names and pages in the parentheses at the end of the quote or paraphrase. If you have a source with 4 or more authors, you can either list all authors, or you can just list the first author named and et al. Et al is an abbreviation of a Latin phrase meaning and others. There are occasions when you don't list the author's last name in the in-text citation, when you don't know the author. Here are 2 common examples. 1. The author is an organization, meaning that a worker or representative of that organization wrote the piece but didn't use their own name. In that case, you would use the name of the organization in the citation. For example, the U.S. Department of Education or American Psychological Association. And again, you can either name the organization in the text or in the citation at the end. And 2, the author is simply unknown, either anonymous or a reference material. In this case, list the title of the work. For example, the Official Scrabble Dictionary. When you have an anthology or a collection of essays or stories or articles, cite the author that wrote the piece you are referring to, last name, and page number where the information was found. If the author is unknown, use the title of the piece in quotation marks within the parentheses. If you incorporate a table or figure into your paper, you need to not only use a citation on the Works Cited page, but you also need to do an in-text citation. Here's how it works. Each image needs a label, a number, a caption, and source information. A label will be either Figure 1, FIG period 1, or Table 1. The next image will then be Figure 2, or Table 2, and so on. The caption will be the image's title. One way to insert this information is to insert a text box. To insert a text box, click the Insert tab, and then select the text box drop-down menu. You'll see many different options. For now, we'll just choose Simple. Your text box will appear in the middle of your page. To move it, float your pointer over the edge of the text box until the pointer becomes a cross. Then left-click and hold, and you'll be able to drag the box to where you want it. Click in the box, and the placeholder text will highlight. Now you can type. I'll enter in the label and caption Fig 1 and the title of the image. Now to resize the box, float your pointer over one of the corners until you see a diagonal arrow. Then left-click and hold, and drag your pointer until the outline of the box shows you the size you want it to be. When your text box is selected, you'll see the Drawing Tools tab open at the top of the page. With this tab selected, choose Shape Outline. Then click No Outline. And that caption looks pretty good. For the source information, you can either list it with the image, perhaps in the text box, or you can put it on the Works Cited page. See the tutorial on citing tables and figures for more information on that. Back to in-text citing, the last thing you do after the image is in and labeled is insert a parenthetical citation when you mention the information in your text.